For Canberra.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to rise and speak in this matter of public importance, and I'm finding some of the statements of those opposite just absolutely laughable. The hypocrisy after 10 years in government to say what is our plan. We have done more in the last 6 months for this country than they did in nearly a decade. That was a government that was actually, it goes sort of beyond party politics. It was a government that was beneath the office of governing. They were not taking responsibility for anything. They had lost any interest in what was important to the Australian people. They were not looking after their interests, they were looking after their own interests. And everything that they did was about an announcement and trying to stay in government, becoming increasingly desperate. And in May this year, the Australian people spoke. And as a great man once said, when you change the government, you change the country. And we have seen that already in the less than 6 months that the Albanese Labor government have been in government, and we have not wasted a day. We have not wasted a minute in making the changes that we need to start building a better future for Australians. In our budget, handed down a couple of weeks ago, we are looking at delivering cost of living relief that doesn't increase inflation. We are looking at making childcare cheaper for Australian families. We have extended paid parental leave. We are investing in housing. We are investing in renewable energy to take the climate action we need and reduce power prices. Under their watch, there were 20, I think it was 22, was it 23? It was more than 20 energy policies, and they couldn't land one. And they have landed this country in the mess that we inherit as a government, and we are just beginning to address. And we have achieved so much, I've got to say, in such a short time. Now, this matter of public importance that they raised today is about mortgages. And I'm really pleased to talk about, the Albanese Labor government's agenda on housing. This was a huge part of our platform that we took to the election and a huge part of our agenda. And it's really important because, as we all know, people in our electorates are struggling with the costs of housing. And, we have a government here. I do sort of feel for those in the opposition. They've come in here, they have to try and say something, and after 10 years of delivering nothing in this regard, it must be difficult. But I've got to say the hypocrisy is a little bit hard to take, to say what is our plan. So what was their plan for helping Australians with housing? Their plan was to let young people rob their own retirement savings. This was the great idea of the former member for Goldstein, Tim Wilson, and they adopted it in the dying days of the 2022 election. They genuinely wanted Australians to rob from their future selves to pay for their housing. And there are many reasons why that policy was a very bad idea. But one of the main ones is that it was actually going to increase demand without increasing supply. So a quick economics 101, if you are going to increase demand without increasing supply, prices go up. Mortgages will go up. So the housing market really, dodged a bullet in May this year, and the Australian people made the right choice if they want to see the housing crisis in this country addressed. Affordable housing is central to the security and dignity of all Australians. Now, it is tough to buy a home now, tougher than ever before, and research by the Grattan Institute found that 40 years ago almost 60% of young Australians on low and modest incomes own their own home, and sadly now that is only 28%. So that is why we are taking the action that we need. Our Housing Minister has revealed that in the months since the launch, only on October 1, of our regional housing policy, Already, more than 360 regional Australians have taken advantage of the regional first home buyer guarantee. This is a guarantee that helps regional Australians with a deposit of as little as 5% to buy a home.
Time's expired, and I'll give you